Cheers, everybody, and welcome to the Driver Recruiting Happy Hour podcast. My name is Darin Williams. I'm the president of CDLjobs.com. With me, as always, is my co-host, the president of Ten4 Recruiting, and the darling of the trucking industry, Matt Beach.
I am
Beach, why do people love you so much?
I don't know.
I mean, I know why I love you, but why does everybody else love you?
I don't know.
Your boyish charm.
It's the handsome good looks. I'm just a
Rugged good looks.
I've heard I'm just a mighty fine boy.
But I've got those things. I've got those things, and people just tolerate me.
Yeah,
they love you.
Our features are somewhat the same. I mean, we got a bald head.
Oh.
We got this.
I cover it with glasses, which isn't very smart. You have a hat.
I know, but still, we got the same features. We got a good attitude. We're both handsome.
But people love you, and they tolerate me. What's the key? What am I doing wrong?
I don't know. I mean, it could be the cologne. I wear.
I should bathe more often.
No, I mean, I went down to the flea market and I always pick up this Channel number 5.
Channel number 5. It's my favorite news show.
It goes on. Boy, it smells good. I mean, right. So I
need to go. The key for me before the next trucking gathering is for me to visit the Saudi Daisy flea market and do a little cologne shopping.
Yeah, a little Channel number 5, a little high karate.
High karate. There you go. Hey, do you know who our guest is today, Beach? This is kind of a big deal.
He is a big.
I mean, no offense to the other people that we've been on the show, but holy cow!
You got to bring him down a little bit. He thinks he's pretty good. He's all right. He's all right guy. He's okay guy.
Well, I'm not trying to prop him up. I'm trying to make us look better by having a special guest.
Yeah, he's good.
While you drink a beer, which is really bringing. Anyway, right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to the senior director at Hiring Our Heroes, Adam Rocke. Adam, welcome to the show, man.
Gentlemen. It is nice to be here. Thank you all very much. And Matt,
no, don't say that yet. It's
not yet. No, save that at the end.
Yeah. We've had people take that back after they said it.
Yeah, specifically, Matt, it's nice to see you again. So last time Matt and I were together, we went on this esteemed hunting trip to somewhere in Alabama with wonderful companies and camaraderie and a little bit of bourbon. I think
a lot of bourbon. There was a lot of bourbon.
But just to show you my expertise in the soldiering arena, I show up with no equipment. I show up with no gun. I have to be outfitted by somebody with the equipment. He hands me a gun. I take 2 round shots, and then we go out to the deer stand for the next 3 days.
So you were sick on the day the military always taught you to be prepared.
That's right. But I will tell you
that course.
I had tremendous mentor. It was Matt Beach himself, all right, via texting me the whole time on what to do, because I'm not quite the hunter unless it's for terrorists. Okay. So
dude, I kid you not, we're in the truck going to the deer stand, and Adam goes, "Is there anything I can't shoot?" He's like, so someone walks out, and I'm like, please, nobody walk in front of this man stand.
He's ready. He's trained and ready to go.
I was. So day 1, nothing. No one sees anything. Day 2, nothing. No one sees anything. The only thing I got. Oh yeah, did you?
I did.
Okay.
Now I did. I saw some stuff.
Day 3, actually, it was time to ramp up my game a little bit, and I was very fortunate to be make a single shot. Single kill, only one to shoot a deer that weekend.
Now, is this at the infamous the hunt cap? Is it Summey's? Is it Bill Summerlin's?
Yeah, but that's not Bill Summerlin's. It's the Southeastern Sportsman's Lodge down in, when he said in the middle of nowhere, Alabama. It is the middle of nowhere, Alabama.
Yeah. But it's the club those guys all go to, Summey and Brad, and I mean, they've been going there for years, right?
Yeah. It's a great place.
Matt was such a good mentor to me, though, Darin, that I wanted to follow suit, and I thought growing a goatee like him, I'd just be a better hunter going forward. So this is why.
And
I can't wait to see what you look like this. This is
going back to your military days. Time to get rid of that salad on your head there. Let's go clean shaven, and we'll bring you in as a third co-host. You can
Thank you all very much, though. But
So
again, an honor to
tell us a
be
little
here.
bit about your background, Adam, just personally, before we get into anything else,
Well, thank you very much.
because we are meeting for the first time.
Yeah, thank you very much again. So, you know, I joined the military at a very young age, you know, frankly, 17 years old, out of high school, was enlisted for a little bit and realized I really enjoyed the discipline, the education, the physicality of the military, but I did want to go get my college degree. So I went to ROTC at the University of Miami and got my commission through ROTC, and then just continued to serve another 30 years. I'm a career infantry officer, retired at the rank of colonel. Very fortunate to command at various levels and to take units like the 82nd Airborne Division, the Ranger Regiment, and then on to start the initiative with the Army Striker Brigade concept, and was fortunate to deploy in leadership roles 3 times to Iraq with them, and then eventually to Afghanistan a couple of times as an advisor. My final assignment, though, was working at the Pentagon for the Chief of Staff of the Army as a special advisor or special assistant to the Chief of Staff to stand up a program, Darin, that was about helping our transitioning service members, their veterans, their military spouses find meaningful employment. So using the grassroots connections of our great communities where we all came from and putting our men and women who served, raised their right hand and served back into those communities with meaningful careers. So I was able to, in uniform, meet a whole host of folks. Our pillars were employment, education, and health and wellness. So that really, I decided it was time. I have married 4 kids, you know, I'm going on 29 years of marriage, and it was time to really get out and raise that family. I thought Colonel was good enough for me, but I wanted to continue to serve. So I tell people, Darin and Matt, I'm still serving. I'm just doing it in a different uniform. Most of the times it's a suit, but I'm still serving and giving back, which was the segue to my current career. You know, I guess I'm on my 3rd job here as the senior director at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, hiring our heroes. But we have a mutual friend, the 3 of us here, and as we discussed earlier, Brad Bentley, who took a chance on me and hired me at Fastport as one of the vice presidents to advocate for veterans issues. And I am very close with Brad to this day, and I am grateful to him and that organization because they hired me. And you know, it's not they hired me because they saw something in me, all right, and they trained me. And I'm always trained by Brad, especially in this industry, just about every day. So I'm grateful to them. But I worked for them for 18 months and went on to lead a nonprofit myself, which I thought was just a unique opportunity. So I went and led a nonprofit that trained servicemen and women in IT skills, and so that worked out okay. But it was time to move on from that. So I am now with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Hiring Our Heroes Foundation as its senior director for, we'll call it outreach and business development. And you both know exactly what that means. And, but I've been here for just over almost 3 years now. And I'll tell you a little bit about the chamber if you want.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let me just jump into what we do. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce is the world's largest business federation. It's got multiple chambers in the cities that you all live in and so on and so forth. But it has a foundation arm, and it has a couple efforts within that foundation arm. One of them is Hiring Our Heroes. It is an initiative started 11 years ago to get at the unemployment rates, the very low unemployment rates we were having in 2010, 2011, 2012 with our men and women who served coming back from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. It was a staggering 24 to 29% unemployment rate. And lots of things came with that unemployment rate. Veteran suicides were high, divorce rates were high, alcohol and drug abuse were high, things of those natures, because our men and women just didn't have, a meaningful careers. Not only a job, but a good paying job with paying benefits that I say are commensurate to what they had in the military. So the chamber started the Hiring Our Heroes, and we do various things. We go and do large transition career fairs, or transition summits, if you will, actually career summits globally, where we use the power of the chamber and our partnerships with hundreds, if not thousands, of companies that are like-minded, that are veteran ready to hire military talent. and we travel the globe. I just came from Joint Base San Antonio, Texas, where we had over 100 companies and about 600 veteran military spouses and transitioning service member job seekers. It's unique, but that's what we do, and we partner with great companies who are like-minded to do that. We do virtual hiring fairs. We have a great fellowship program, which puts people into some sort of middle management, program management, operations management, so on and so forth. And we have military spouse programs, a ton of those, because we really want to curb the military spouse unemployment rate, which is a staggering 30 to 35% right now. So, that's an untapped resource that we could tap into, and businesses are starting to understand that. I will say right now, if there's a shining light in anything, as you both know, there is a war on talent right now. You two are operating on it every day. There are more jobs than there are people to fill them, right? So a lot of companies have come to us and said, we're looking for that military talent. We really want to recruit from that military community for various reasons. First thing is they're very well educated. Two, they're trainable, right? They are drug-free, they have a clearance, they're not obese, they come to work on time, they're disciplined, they've got all these soft skills, but they're trainable. So you might not have the exact skill set that some of these companies that we're dealing with are looking for, but those companies are willing to, I won't say take a risk, that are willing to come to the military community because they know the values that they bring and what they're capable of doing, and they're willing to train them. So that's why we have quite the following of these corporations, from big companies to medium to even small businesses that are coming to us every day looking for our talent. And we've proven that we're a resource that people can count on. We give them not only great product, but great leaders. And so we've been very, very successful so far. And we're going to keep doing this because it's important. But the last piece I'll say in this whole thing, we don't do this alone. It takes a village. It takes folks like yourself that are doing what you're doing in the CDLs. We could talk about the initiatives we have in that, or into the trucking industry, which desperately needs people. And we help, as a matter of fact, the Hiring Our Heroes does recruit into the trucking industry with a couple initiatives that we have underway as well. So thank you for letting me talk about Hiring Our Heroes.
Yeah, I know. And, awesome, Adam. I love every bit. I'm hearing the first time at the deer camp. That was just phenomenal. I was like, I'm going to be keyed in on this guy. And, we've had a few truck driving schools that's come on the show as well. How much do you connect with them, especially with the individuals? You have professional drivers who are currently in the military when they're getting out looking for a truck driving job, possibly, right? And then you have individuals who are in the military, like, I want to get my Class A. Do you partner with a lot of the truck driving schools as well to help that transition or help that those people into those jobs?
Yeah, we first of all, we partner with a lot of trucking companies. And well, if you remember, and you both know this very well, Fast Work created, it was founded to help, bridge the gap between the trucking companies and those who are looking for truck drivers, right? So now we brought them to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and we actually use their software still, okay? And then we've expanded that software, but as you know, just think, they started out in the trucking industry. So you can imagine in our database, the amount of trucking companies that are constantly searching for servicemen and women talent, okay? Then we have some other initiatives that we do. We have again, Brad's going to get a lot of attention here, but because of Brad.
And he should. He's such a handsome guy.
Brad's one of the good guys. We don't mind.
We'll talk bad about him. What he does in the trucking industry. We started the Transition Trucking Driver Excellence Award Initiative, and
what's the abbreviation for that?
Yeah, that's a mouthful. Yeah, it is a mouthful. But I will say, every year that's a competition, and this is a competition to help a rookie driver in the who just got his or her CDL, right? And is 1 year on with some of the great companies like that you're partnered with, Melton Trucking, right? Stevens Transport, Prime, CRST, McElroy, Amazon, Paso. There's a whole bunch of other ones. So a couple of those right there, right? To award a T680 Kenworth truck, brand new with the keys, to a deserving individual who has been mentored by these great companies, right? Seasoned truckers, and has proven that they can be a small business owner, right? An entrepreneur, an owner operator, right? And that's quite the program. I mean, so you talked about other companies that we have. I mean, just that list is of the few that I just mentioned, and that's growing, and people are getting a word about that. So that's one of the many initiatives, and we're going to have. I think we started in 2016. We're going to have another giveaway this year on the 16th of December on the steps of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. But that's about changing someone's life, right? That's about promoting the trucking industry and the value that the veterans bring to the trucking industry. That's one thing that we do. We are also, to answer your question, Matt, partnered with some CDL schools. We have one in particular. It's called Troops into Transportation. It's a Transforce Group initiative. I'm sure you're familiar with it. But our servicemen and women often they're on military bases. They're a skill bridge provider, which allows the service members while they're on active duty to go to upskilling programs, and this is one of them. And they get their CDL license, and they are, they're partnered with 500 plus companies that are looking for drivers. So that's another initiative. The other one we just did was, are you both familiar with the Drive for 500 initiative that we just did?
No, I'm not.
Groundbreaking. Drive sounds pretty cool though, right? Drive for 500. It's right up your alley. So we, Hiring Our Heroes, partnered with Indeed and that CDL company I just talked about, Troops into Transportation. Indeed is providing scholarships to 500 deserving service members or military spouses. How's that? I mean, so that are very interested in getting their CDL Class A license and getting into the transportation trucking industry to be a truck driver, right? They're just shy of 500. I think the president of the company told me this morning they're 497, and they just have a couple other applications to review, but they'll make their mark. So since April, they've stood this up, and I mean, this is, a scholarship to get your CDL license, all expenses paid, other than some meals and some incidentals, but and the testing. So into jobs, and I was also told they have all been offered a job.
That is great. And this is a typical situation that happens here. Darin has technical issues halfway through the thing, and we are, by the way, we're still recording. Adam, you are now the host.
That's right.
Of the Driver Recruiting Happy Hour.
Thank you
Adam
very
was the new
much.
host. It happens every time. I've tried to tell him, like, dude, you just got, I don't know. I mean, bless his heart, bless Darin's heart. He tries.
He's way out there in Iowa, he told me though. And
He is out there now. You talk about Brad. Brad is like, Brad and I had a instant connection because, we started talking about bourbon. Brad is like the bourbon ninja. I mean, this guy knows every restaurant. So if I want to go somewhere to eat, and it doesn't matter if it's in Iowa or Key West to San Fran to Maine, you mentioned to Brad, hey, I'm going to go to this city. It's going to be here. Brad goes, let me tell you where to go eat. Let me tell you where the best bourbon is for this. The man knows the city, the United States. He knows where the good food, the great hangout spots, and he knows where all the great bourbon stuff is. I mean, he's absolutely a bourbon ninja. Have you noticed that about him when you talk to him? Or back in it was just like, where are we going? We're going to go here, here, here. It's like, how do you know this? And I know he's not researching it. And it's just like, just someone might have took me and I remembered it. And he just finds those spots.
And right now he's sweating it, trying to get reconnected with us, isn't he?
Now Darin is. Yeah, Darin is definitely like, crap. He's trying to text me. I'm just going to ignore it.
Yeah.
Adam, what you guys are doing is phenomenal. I'm very familiar with the truck driving schools that you mentioned. The amount of work that you guys, I didn't know the full details. So a lot of stuff that you're mentioning with the driver 500, right? I mean, that program, that's absolutely amazing. Do you do any work with the connections with the REITs across America?
Well, we sure do. We're a partner with REITs across America. We obviously, there's always a 501c3 donation aspect of it. If you donate someone buys a REIT, you get maybe Hiring Heroes might get $5 of that sometimes. And so there's some of those kind of programs out there as well. I was on the advisory board of Reach Across America for a number of years. What a tremendous initiative there. And obviously, the trucking industry is the hallmark of it, delivering those wreaths to all the veteran cemeteries, literally all across the globe. They went over to, I guess, to Normandy, and they've done some overseas cemeteries. Maybe the trucking used to drive there, but it got them to the ports where they were delivered, and so on and so forth. So it's remarkable.
But now you said 29 years of marriage.
Yeah, 29. Yeah.
29. So is it 30 this year, or did it hit 29?
October will be 20. October will be 29. I'm sorry, October will be 29. Thank you.
Well, no, yeah, exactly. So my wife and I it's 20 years for us, November 10th, and for all this year I've been telling everybody it's November 11th, and I think I sent an email in November, and she was like, absolutely not, it's November 10th. And of course I was in the doghouse, and I'm still in the doghouse, but I'm like, come on, 20 years, it's great. It doesn't matter, me trying to play, it doesn't matter what day it is, it's at the first of the night, who cares? She's like, oh, it matters. So like right now we're trying to figure out where to go. We have no idea.
Well, come on down to DC. Not that it's the garden spot, but we got plenty of room.
But so the one place I love, so I went to, I brought my son to DC for the Reach Across America. And those places you told us to go and hit were spot on. Yeah. But oh my gosh, what's the bourbon place? And because I even sent Brad an email, like text, I'm here. He's like, I'm so jealous. Yes. But it was the Rose. Is it the Rose, or what was it called?
Brad's also told me, I forgot the name, but it was quite the collection, what I understand of bourbon.
Oh, you've never been there?
I have not. Brad,
oh my God.
Go. I know.
Yeah, it's like something Rose, not Rose and Crown, but something Rose. And right now I'm going to get smacked for it at some point, because there's a friend of mine who listens to this podcast and he loves DC. But like the Pearl Dive, that's one of my favorite places to go to get your oysters. I don't know if you've ever been there, but my goodness, I love DC. A lot of people are like, oh, you just go to DC and you see the monuments. I'm like, absolutely not. There's so much more to do in DC, just as, the typical, monuments and all that. I love it.
There is. We're glad you came to the city, but I'm glad I don't work at the Pentagon anymore. And now I live outside the city. You don't really have to commute anymore. So the traffic.
Yeah. How long did you work? The traffic's a nightmare. Yeah. Absolutely. But how long did you work at the Pentagon?
It's a total of 7 years. So
yeah.
And it's really is. People joke about it. It is a tough place to work, but it's a great place to work, because that's where really the nation's defense business is done. And it was an honor again to work there. Things that you work on are real-time, national security issues. So I never really minded going to work. The commute was the worst part, as we just discussed. But after that, you get in there and you put your head down, you work hard, and it means something.
So what's the next steps for y'all? What are the folks that what's for y'all?
For hiring our heroes, first of all, we're going to continue to grow, continue to develop these partnerships. We're a big tent though, Matt, and we collaborate with just about everyone. So it's just, not named the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Hiring Our Heroes Foundation. We really are inclusive. We'll bring almost anybody in if they have the same values and the same mission that we do, and we're like-minded. We'll bring in and we want to grow to scale in various ways. We want to continue to do the in-person. By the way, back on in-person, these in-person transition summits we're doing, Matt, are superb. I mean, and I go there and I'm the host. I guess, and now I'm the host of this podcast. But I'm the host, if you will, of the of many of the summits. And it's an honor to be in front of these men and women who served or getting out. Welcome back, Darin.
We're Adam's doing a great job as being the host here. I mean,
so sorry, Adam. I live in Mayberry.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Everything went blank on me there, so I apologize.
That's all right. Just to bring you up to speed, we're talking about what's next. Okay, so I was just telling Matt about how we're trying to grow and scale. So bottom line is we're always looking for more like-minded companies. All right. And all right, we won't turn them away. And I like I said, I do outreach and business development. Me and my team speak to folks every day who are interested and heard the good news from us, saw us on social media or heard about us or whatnot and want to be part of it because they know we have access to an incredible pipeline of talent. All right. And why do I say we have access to them? Because we have an enterprise memorandum of understanding with the Department of Defense that allows us to do certain things. It's because we've proven ourselves. It allows us to be a skill-rich provider of certain programs that we have, which is upskilling. It allows us to get to the installations and because of who we are and what we've been able to do and the impact we're bringing, right? So we bring like-minded companies along with us. The other thing we want to do, Matt, is our fellowship program, which is off the charts. We've got over 2,000 fellows this year alone, right? With a 90% offer rate, with a mean salary of $117,000. I'll say it again, a mean salary of $117,000. Now, Darin, out in Mayberry where you at, it might not be that high, and in Chattanooga, maybe not be that high, but
we roll it big here in Chattanooga.
But you got my point. I mean, but just think about that: 90% offer rate after an internship of 12 weeks, which is no cost to our companies, not at all, right? Because they're on active duty. It's about really, it's about trying it before you buy it. When do you get to do that? And you can give them an offer, day one if you wanted to, or 6 weeks in, or wait till after. And then the same thing for the military spouses, although we do pay the military spouses.
Adam, maybe it's not as simplistic as this, but if I'm coming out of the military and I come to your organization and I'm looking for a career, where does trucking fall into that? Like, is it depend on the individual, or if there's an interest level, is trucking towards the top, towards the bottom? Do you have to do more convincing for a guy to say, hey, come on, let's get into trucking? Or where does our industry fall in?
I'll tell you this, I think your industry falls up very well for a couple of reasons, right? But I do say the industry needs to do a couple of things a little bit better. You need to promote yourself a little bit better, all right? You need to show the service members, and I think even the country, the economic value of coming into the trucking industry, that it is a career, that you can make a career with really good money, and that these great companies will have benefits. They'll pay some, I won't go and say everyone, but will pay for some college that you're interested in going to, right? They'll take care of your family. You'll have medical coverage. You'll have, all kinds of a nice compensation package. You get decent hours, and you'll be home at night sometimes, or it depends on what company you go to. But I think the trucking industry needs to change its image. Okay, it's not like it was Smokey and the Bandit back in the day. Okay, it's a little bit different, and we're more technical. Think about that T680 I talked about. You get in that thing, and you got your phones, you got GPS, you got. You guys use the walkie-talkie still probably, but anyway, CB radios or whatever, I don't know. And but the point is, joking aside, it is different, and they need to know that it is different, and so that image you need to change first of all.
Yeah.
The second,
that's good information. That's good for people to hear.
The second thing is that many of these companies that you are already partnered with and know have their own CDL programs, right? That are they're hurting so bad that they need us. They're willing to train them, right? Or they're willing to send them to a training program and maybe pay that back, so that the service member can continue to either keep their GI Bill or use it for somebody else, right? So, or it's a low cost school maybe, but they need to understand that. So then the last thing, Darin, I will tell you is I go to these transition summits globally, and I talk to these young kids, okay? These young kids who want adventure, they want to continue the adventure, they want to be independent and see the country, right? I'm constantly walking them over to, trucking companies, because it is a great way to get started. Is it a great way to start your career? Get really good pay. I mean, some of these jobs are 60,000 plus a year. I mean, and with benefits on top of that. And so I have found a whole bunch of one day, as a matter of fact, I was at Camp Lejeune, I found 3 kids, all were interested in the trucking industry. I walked them right over, I think it was to Chris Gonzalez, as a matter of fact. I invited him in, and I invited him in to set up a booth, and I think I walked him over.
And Chris scared the hell out of him.
I'm going to text Chris Gonzalez.
Clean Harbors, exactly. Clean Harbors came, and they Chris has come to a couple of events now. He is bought in because he completely understands the talent pool we're dealing with. So trucking is right up there at the top for a lot of reasons.
Good. It's good to hear.
Yeah, that was my question that you went into though, Adam, is you see so many, hiring military drivers. That's almost like a buzzword. And I don't mean to take that lightly, but it's almost like, okay, that's the new thing that we got to go hire for. Let's hire for that. And then they create these materials and just marketing and all that. But really, when the military professional driver comes over, it's like, really, what does this mean? I'm just being treated just as a normal driver. I mean, where's the other benefits to this? You wanted me here. I'm here. What are you doing? Oh, it was just marketing. We just knew that was just something we had to do because everybody else was doing it. We thought it was the flavor of the month. It's not the flavor of the month. Yeah. It's not. I mean, really, it is a top-notch professional driver that you're getting being part of your fleet.
Well, it's a real solution to a problem that we all have.
Yeah.
And we just need to embrace it.
Well, America needs truck drivers. I mean, just look at all the stuff in your offices and mine. And I mean, how do we get that? They got from point A to point B. And, I just, but back during the image change wouldn't hurt. Now, my Uncle Richard, a Korean War veteran, was a truck driver his entire life, made a living doing it. And I enjoyed as a little kid hopping up in that cab and going for a ride and pulling that thing down, that horn, air horn and all that stuff. But that's what until I got into this and started to really think about it, that was the image I had. But now it has evolved. I mean, it's much more technical than it ever was, and you should celebrate that.
Yeah. And trucking is wonderful, but if you have an Uncle Richard, he missed a great opportunity to be a pro wrestler. Ricky Rocke, are you kidding me? That's a champion of the world, man.
Yeah, you got it.
I'm sure he was a great truck driver, but Ricky Rocke, UFC
guys. He could have done it. This could have been a secret thing that he could have done on the side.
Yeah, you never know. A lot of those guys wore masks back then.
That's right.
I could be a wrestler. There's a city of Red Bank.
No.
Yes,
we would recognize the guy in the jorts and the Captain America.
Hey, I can't. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think I'm going to be honest with you two on this podcast and all the other 1 million listeners that are going to hear this.
And the 4 people who returned in.
I can't fit in the jorts no more.
What?
I can't.
I thought you were going to start running.
I did. I ran 2 5Ks last week.
You're making this up.
I'm not. I swear to God, I did. I ran 2 5Ks. I am drinking this crap.
That's beer flavored water.
I can't. I'm trying. I mean, I'm counting calories. This is 95 calories. I don't even tell you what a shot of bourbon is. You want to know how much a shot of bourbon is? Good
bourbon. 105.
Maybe your shot.
Well, about 1 ounce pour.
Dude, literally, I put them on the other day, and my wife was like, "Hey, try the jorts on. It's our 20-year anniversary. Let's see what they look like." So I put them on.
She did not tell you to try them. That is not true. That's made up.
It literally, I was like a can of biscuits about to just, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't breathe. I thought maybe I'll go mow in them. I did some, what do you call it, dips and squats and everything else. Man, no.
Wow, that took a huge turn for the worse there.
Well, even well, here's what's funny. This beer glass, right? It's like, I think at Applebee's, I didn't steal this from Applebee's, so Applebee's, don't come after us. They call this like a Brutus cup. And so I got it, and then I was able to fill this little skinny little piece of crap all the way almost to the top of this. And so like
this
whole
16
time
ounce
I'm
glass.
getting gypped. Exactly. Plus, you know what this was, Adam?
Yeah.
This was a vase that had flowers in it. And then my wife was going to tell me, like, I drink beer out of that. And she still laughs. She goes, "You're drinking beer out of a vase." I'm like, man, I've drank out of the words. But still.
Well,
that's culture.
Someone calling in for, maybe they have a question.
That was it. We got a question. Let's go to the phones. Let's go.
Well, the caller ID says it's Applebee's, so they want to know why I've got a guy on here telling everybody.
Stop telling the secret.
the Brutus glass is a ripoff. They want to know. Speak to our attorney.
How about let me touch on a couple more things for you, and it might help your listeners. Okay,
Yeah,
Please
go
do.
for it.
That's okay, instead, unless you had a particular question, but I think what's important for people to understand is the current landscape of the veteran landscape, okay? And why this all matters. But first of all, every year, Darin and Matt, doesn't matter, over 200,000 men and women will be transitioning out of the service every year. Doesn't matter. That's a large number right? Going into civilian sector. It's just a matter of rotation, you know. People retire, people decide that they don't want to serve anymore, or their contract is up, you know, whether it be 4, 5, 6 years or whatnot. So 200,000, that's quite a decent you know, talent pool that people want to tap into. So organizations like mine are able to access that, as we discussed. That's why we're pretty attractive, right? And there are a host of other ones as well. But a couple things though. We didn't touch on remote work. You're obviously you're not going to be a remote driver. I got all that, but just for other companies, even in the transportation industry. I mean, if you're not a driver though, you know, remote work nowadays, based on COVID, we have proven. Look what we're doing here. I don't have to come to Iowa to be in a studio. Remote work is an option for a lot of people. So, and many of the service members, especially military spouses, are very interested in remote work because now they're no longer geographically tied, right? You can take that job and we call it PCS, permanent change of station, but you transition from one post to another post to another post if you're a military spouse, right? If your husband or wife, whatever, is active duty still, you can take that with you. That's important. I want to talk about mentorship for a minute, if that's all right, because mentorship
Go for it. It's a good,
absolutely vital. Absolutely vital. I mean, I'm sure you two have mentored hundreds, if not thousands, of young men and women who wanted to get in the trucking industry. You're doing that now. We're having a conversation, but mentorship is so important for the service members because they don't know what they don't know. It is a new culture. They left their communities. They're going to go back to some communities. They lost their network. They've done a lot of things. Their identity's changed a little bit. Their discipline, all these things, right? But they need two types of mentors. They need a personal mentor that could be, you know, father, mother, whatever, that gives them some guidance, you know, like my son, Max over there. I think I'm more a personal mentor than a professional mentor because he doesn't listen to anything I say, right? So, but they need a professional mentor, somebody like in the industry, somebody that they can trust. That's going to talk to them about business. It's not going to coddle them. It's going to tell them the real deal. Put them on the path of, it could be education, it could be the path of where you should live, how much money, how to negotiate, how to whatever. It could be any of that. I think mentorship is really, really important. For the rest of your listeners, we've improved our resume writing, but we haven't come there yet. So those companies looking to hire, if you have a veteran in your veterans employee resource group, review the resume. That could be helpful. I'm not sure. There's lots of ways. You don't, some of the companies, you don't have to take a resume, you just apply online. I got it. But we've come a long way. Passport's helped us with that resume engine that they built, resumeengine.org, which is a great tool. So we haven't taken all the jargon, military jargon, off of our resumes quite yet. So we've got some ways to go. Your listeners need to understand that your military folks still have a difficult time communicating what they did in the military and communicating their skills, right? It might just say I was an infantryman, therefore the only thing I can be is a security guard. Well, that's not true. You have leadership, right? You have critical thinking skills. You have that discipline. You have other attributes that need to come out. I tell people the resume is just an opportunity for you to get an interview. Hopefully it's gonna, you know, just be enough so that you get the call back, so that you get called in, so that you can sit across the table like we're doing right now and have an honest conversation about what it is that you did in the military. And most folks will be able to draw that out, right? And they can tell about all the things that they did. And then you go, I really want some of that, okay? Rank doesn't matter, but the education and skills do. So I say, don't always look higher, you know, for the colonels. Don't always hire, I mean, just because it's a colonel, but look at the education. Look at the skills that they have. Look at those. There are many young servicemen and women in the cyber arena, cybersecurity arena, who might not have a college education, but they got every certification known to man to be very successful in a cyber world, right? So take a look at that is what I'm saying. Just always look for the 4-year degree. Military spouses, we talked about that, untapped resource, right? Hire a military spouse. I have a wife, she's a Swiss Army knife, she can do it all. But the military spouses are very well educated. They might have some gaps in their employment, but they're very talented, and you should not forget about that population. We are touching on it now with the CDLs and the things that you're doing, but workforce development is important. Upskilling, the skilled trades are vital. Not every serviceman or woman has a college degree, nor wants to go back to college, but they have a GI Bill that they earn that they can use as they see fit for upskilling opportunities. Or there are many folks out there that have free opportunities. But I mean, back to the point we started with a little bit ago, the men and women are trainable, and you just give them an opportunity, let them find their passion, whether it be IT, whether it be a CDL, whether it be HVAC, whether it be refrigeration, you name it, right? Giving them an opportunity to upskill, learn that trade, and put them into the industry, and they will thrive. And the last piece I tell you, and I think you know too, I go back, there is a war in town, companies are hiring. I associate with thousands of companies, and I know they're hiring. They're looking right at the military community, which consists of the service members that are still serving, getting out, those veterans that are out, those military spouses, those caregivers, right? That community there, because they know that they can count on them and they have the talent that they're looking for. So that's what I'm seeing in the landscape, if that helped you and your listeners in any way.
Well, it does for me. I get greedy because I have my recruiting hat on and I'm just thinking recruiting truck drivers. When in fact, if I took that hat off and was more of a, okay, trucking industry as a whole, and I'm working at a carrier, I'm just not going, well, we're only looking for truck drivers. It's like, hold on just a second. You have recruiters, you have IT, like you mentioned, there's operations positions, there's dispatchers, there's tons of jobs just with mechanics. My God, right now mechanics are needed just like truck drivers, but still internal people of just what you're talking about, just the operations side to recruiting. There's so many different departments that the trucking industry as a whole and your carrier as a whole can completely dive into versus keeping that secret fishing hole to yourself, right? And as a recruiting department going, this is just, no, open it up to everybody in your carrier. So I think that was a great point that you just mentioned. Yeah. It's for everybody.
Adam, how do people get a hold of you? What's the best way?
They're willing to reach out to me directly at my email. I'm happy to get that, or on LinkedIn, or they can go to Hiring Our Heroes. Once they go to hiringourheroes.org, which is our website, and there's lots of resources, but I'm happy to get out my email if that's helpful to the audience at arocke@uschamber.com. Shoot me a note if you want to get connected, and if I can help somebody that's transitioning with that, get connected with our career counselors and a mentor, and put you in some resources. I can do that. If I can help in any way, or if there's a company that's listening that wants to tap into the pipeline of talent we have, I'm happy to do that. And I know
absolutely.
I want to leave you.
We'll include all that in the link when this is released. So that'll be good. And Adam, I can't thank you enough for your time. I'm glad I seem uneducated, that I was unfamiliar with Hiring Our Heroes and that whole program. It seems, I mean, I am uneducated, but I mean, this really made me feel uneducated and kind of worthless after I read your bio and then just heard your story. I've never really felt worse about myself. So I'm going to go do some push-ups and maybe read a book or something.
Yeah, I'm going to close with, if we have 30 more seconds, I'm going to tell you.
Oh yeah, you got all the time in the world.
What all this is about, Darin, in my mind, is about national security. You're going to go, wow, Adam's getting big on the strategic level about national security, and I'm just a colonel. But I will tell you this: if we
just a colonel,
yeah, if we treat our young men and women who raised the right hand and took an oath, right, to support and defend our nation, and we treat them with dignity and respect as they get ready to transition, and we provide them opportunities with companies like the ones that you're partnered with or you two own, and so on and so forth, right? And it's a segue to meaningful employment and a standard of living right? And all those other things we talked about, I think will subside and they will thrive. There'll be civic assets, there'll be leaders, there'll be the coach, teach, mentor, the volunteer in your community. But what they will do is belly up to the bar, like I'm going to do maybe tonight at the American Legion. I'm going to talk to a young kid, men or women, and I'm going to talk to them about my service. There's some good things, there's some bad things. I had a wonderful career after 34 years, and I'm very proud of that and all the things that I did. And I want to share that with the youth and tell them that there was a spree component of this whole thing. 2, there's an economic component of it. I'm retired, right? And then 3, it was just a great career. And that if we don't do that, our all volunteer force is at risk right now, all right? And it truly is. The young men and women do not have the propensity to want to serve in our military for various reasons. We could talk about that for hours. But I mean, I go back to the war on talent. The war on talent that even exists in the military right now. We need young men and women who want to serve for whatever reason, be for patriotic reasons like I did, or for economic reasons, right? It's a mixture of both. But we've got to attract more people into our service to want to serve, to defend our borders, to defend our nation, to want to serve. And then we've got to show them that you may serve and we're proud of you. But there is an opportunity post-transition back in those great companies, those communities, to take care of your family. So I leave you that I truly believe this whole transition piece comes full circle about national security and the all volunteer force. So thanks for listening.
That's awesome, man. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, Adam, first, thanks for coming on. 1, 2, thank you for your service. Beach, thank you for not wearing jorts anymore. And to our listeners,
no, it's going to happen. It'll work up to.
Maybe by Louisville. We'll set a goal.
Good.
To everybody, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Be safe and keep on trucking.